Now pee in the shower.
Yes.
I'm
He
so
did.
surprised you haven't peed. Oh no, that's pee.
That was a lot of pee.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
It tastes like
okay,
Baja
now
Blast.
talk about any percent. That was that my man put on his clothes like a champ. Just like got
Yeah,
off
like
one
Jesus
screen.
Christ, where did they
yeah.
come from?
Just,
Do you think they
did they
modeled
go?
his penis, or they just gave him like a blob there, like that's empty?
I don't remember if Kojima said if he did or didn't.
I think they didn't. I think they didn't model anything. I don't remember.
Dude, you know what upsets me a lot? I was like, I'm gonna go and look for Resident Evil 2 remake mods because I want to make Leon look like Resident Evil 4 Leon, give him a nice coat. And then I sifted through like 70 pages of just nude mods, Leon with BDSM armor on, and like a giant penis, and then and then
you
Mr.
download
X.
any of these mods and show them to the world.
right,
Then
How fucking dare you? You
Oh,
greedy
and,
bitch.
by the way, this is just for you guys. Like, this is gonna be probably out of date by the time this goes up. But right now in Humble Bundle, there's a bundle which is all 7 Resident Evil games for $30 and 50% off 8.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm really
if I
sad
didn't
that we-
already
2 and
have
3 are
all
the
of them.
remakes.
We just purchased because they went on sale a little bit ago, and we just purchased them
Really good ago.
like a couple weeks ago. Alonzo, when did we get
Yeah, it
Resident
wasn't-
Evil Revelations 2?
It wasn't that long ago.
Like a month ago.
Because they went on sale and they were like Revelations 2 was like $1. It was really cheap. I don't believe you. Shut the fuck up.
I like
Also,
how-
Oh no, I was just making fun of this man staring at us in the eyes.
Oh god. I just tabbed over and I saw his face and his eyes were so big.
See, Ark and Max, they aren't even watching. They're just winging it.
No,
They're like really good at guessing what's happening.
I mean, I've been watching the majority of this, and I still don't know what's going on, but that's okay.
I only have
You're
one
not wrong,
monitor,
dude.
so when I have to like tab away, I'm not looking at it.
Oh, dude, I feel it.
The
I feel it.
pain of having one.
Yeah, 2 monitors is like I could not live with 1 monitor anymore.
Dude, I tried to live with one monitor for a little bit, and I was like, this is awful. Go back.
I don't have enough desk space because desks are so fucking expensive.
They are.
That's why you
I had
get
to get.
one off of like Facebook.
I mean, my secondary monitor, which the stream is on right now, is like it's like a crappy 4x3. It's not like I don't
Yeah.
have large monitors. I think my main one is like 22 inches, 19 inches, something like that. And then the other one is like some really crappy Dell. But it's like I'm not playing games on it or anything, so it's like
Yeah,
I don't need...
that's just your like extra monitor for more shit.
But yeah, like you know, it's just
crabs.
nice. You can fit it in some
No, the crabs.
Boss fight, boss fight, boss fight.
hungry boxes.
All
All
right.
right. You?
Wait, is it a crab
shut up.
box?
It's just
Are we getting more carcinization?
giant enemy crab.
Who become crab?
All right, Ark. If you need more desk space, though, here's what you do. Have you ever seen at Walmart those foldable tables for eating on?
Yes, I am
There's
back.
no
yes.
Okay, there is no Walmart that is accessible in my area.
Okay,
Like
Target.
none of a car.
But they do deliver.
Target will deliver.
So does Walmart.
But the
They do. Okay, Walmart will deliver.
Walmart will deliver right into your house now. Apparently,
Yeah.
Actually,
will
no.
put
I
away
saw
their
that.
groceries.
It was really
Psycho
weird.
Mantis.
It's Troy Baker.
The Golden Undertaker.
Oh shit.
Oh,
He's out here like,
guys.
I am Psycho Mantis. I'm gonna fuck your mother.
God damn, you have some nice filters on
He has
that
a
microphone.
TV too.
That's Psycho Mantis' catchphrase. That's how he laughed. Homst.
Psycho Mantis is just looking at her search history and dugging.
What the fuck?
He has the power
she
to
does
go
that.
between purgatory
does that
and
too.
not.
What's that?
giving you a sniff.
Strand is dead. America's
Oh, he almost said
last
it.
president dead and burned.
Toasty.
And now the girl's been chosen to take mommy's place.
Just gonna give you a little. Just gonna give you a little.
Little sniff.
One of those, you know.
Smell you later.
But don't worry. I'll keep her
That was me smelling. Didn't know if you
Like how
noticed.
he's like just kind of touching him like that.
Yeah, like the uncomfortable fondle. Not he's not touching him hard, but he's touching him. It's like he's in my space. I don't like that.
It's the gentle touches that are worse.
It's
Firm,
the manager.
firm touches.
girl.
Firm touches are like yes.
She's not like you or me.
It's the manager
This ain't
touch.
her thing. And she's more into destruction on a worldwide scale. An extinction.
So is this a bad guy? I'm assuming it is.
Yes.
He does have a baby though.
The gold skull mask. He's standing in the weird ET car shit.
You can't shake hands.
He's got an orange light instead of a blue one.
Yeah, he seems like an alright guy.
Connection to the other.
He's got a red baby.
Yeah, his baby's a communist.
You're no bridge.
Nah, it's
Maybe
just
the
a.
communist.
It's just a red skin.
I'm bound to all
Tommy,
no.
cut that out.
this
Tommy, cut that out.
No.
I mean, yes, you are, you know.
I mean, I technically am a Native American, but we can't say bad words on television.
Uh-oh, not the whole television scene.
Was Evo on television this year? On like
think so.
ESPN2?
Oh, that would have been cool.
I might have been.
But it was last time, I think.
Well, I mean, Sony owns it. I wouldn't be surprised if they put it out.
They just put Evo like literally side by side with IRL boxing. Like, just pick the fight you want to watch.
You're on the menu.
Well, if that's the case, I would have been on television, and that would have been kind of cool. Getting absolutely fucking demolished.
So how about it?
Tommy, put it on the screen.
Getting tired of the quiet?
I posted the what is it? The clip is
The
still
clip?
somewhere up on our.
Yeah.
A game over.
Hey, he said game over.
Oh shit.
Oh god, the baby was looking at him and it just looked back.
The
He
baby.
looked back and it was just like, what the fuck, bro? Blood bag.
So I have a question. What?
That's a good question.
It's like a cephalopod mixed with a whale.
Contact with a civilian would be enough. We can't let that happen. You've got to deal with that BT right now.
It's a good thing we just learned that we can kill these things.
With our blood.
That's a lot of blood, by the way. You could say that we're blood-born, in fact.
Oh yeah, totally.
Uh,
How wet
that
you
is-
get out?
That's the prequel to the award-winning masterpiece Bloodborne part.
Have any of you guys played the Bloodborne PSX game?
Yeah, yeah, it's cool.
It
It's like
is
a fan made
very,
thing, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's very fun too. It's quite amazing.
It's a very interesting remake, that's for sure.
Yeah, it feels so weird because it's like everything feels like this is exactly what it would feel like to play this back in the day.
Right.
It's one of those things where it gives you false memories. Like straight up, you're like, yeah, I feel like I remember this game as a whole. Jump. It was the main thing that inspired me to start making like a Ocarina of Time Souls-like game. And yes, Seuss, I know Ocarina of Time already is basically just a Souls-like, but easy.
What?
But I want to
Was
make
the
one.
original Souls like?
Yeah, but I want to make one that is more
Technically,
close
all
to a modern
Souls-like
Souls-like.
games.
Wait, what's the original Souls like?
Our Zelda games.
Ocarina of Time is the basis for most Souls-like games in terms of like the way they control and their like basic gameplay functionality. You know.
The rolls and movement sort of thing.
I thought
Yeah.
it would be Kingsfield.
I'm not sure what you just said. What was that?
Kingsfield. It's the game that
Yes,
game that
I think-
From Software made before they made the Dark Souls.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's just when I say Souls-like, I just really referring to like the control, because they're basically like you take brain power. I don't have it right now, and I'm trying to have it. Souls like not in terms of like, oh, you die, you lose your shit, you go back and grab
But
it.
the
right?
way they play.
Yeah, just the way they control. So like your general
Navigate
movement.
and interact with the world, yeah.
Yeah. And then
Right.
other things like, oh, the way the money system works is kind of similar to movies, but not really. Don't die.
That's not good.
You're all wet.
You're in the goop. But I want to make an Ocarina of Time game that controls very similarly to Ocarina of Time, but actually put in a lot of game design elements from modern Souls-likes that makes it more actually Souls-like instead of just the control.
So like a fantasy Souls like.
Yeah, I guess so. Kind of like a weird in-between between the type of game that like Zelda is.
Yeah, Metroidvania.
I feel like we need. Yes, Metroidvania is a good way to put it. I feel like we need to like differentiate between Zelda and Breath of the Wild because they are very different. Like Zelda 1 and Breath of the Wild are very different from like Ocarina to Skyward Sword.
It does feel kind of weird where like Breath of the Wild is closer to Zelda 1 than it is to Ocarina of Time, really.
Yeah, to any other Zelda really. It's Zelda. It's Breath of the Wild is Zelda 1 like fully realized, whereas like from Link to the Past all the way up to Skyward Sword, every Zelda is like the same game.
Dab on the haters.
They change a lot. Don't forget about all the 3DS and DS things. Like Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracker.
I can't say much about those games in terms of structure. The one that I played the most was in terms of handheld. That was cool. What the hell is it called? No, I never got to play that, and I really wanted to. What the fuck is it? Minish Cap.
Oh yeah.
Minish Cap is a great game.
I can't remember much about its structure, but I did like it. Alonzo, you know more about it than I do. Does it follow a similar structure to A Link to the Past and Ocarina?
Yes.
Yeah, so
yeah, it did add a lot of different things to the game.
I mean, each game kind of has like its own like identity in terms of like their gimmick and their like main gameplay style. Like obviously with Ocarina of Time, it's like let's do Link to the Past in 3D, and then Majora's Mask is fucking Majora's Mask.
Yeah, but
enough
ultimately
said on
what
that.
he's trying to get at is just that there is a set number of places that you have to go through and defeat, with the boss either waiting at the end.
Yes, that
or,
yeah,
or,
just,
or at,
just
Well,
or at the end of every dungeon.
not even just that. It's also just the overall structure. Link to the Past, Ocarina, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword, and Wind Waker as well. You get thrown out of your town by some means. Now you're on an adventure.
Yeah, it's the
now
basic
you have to
hero's journey there.
Well, that and then you get three items from 3 basic dungeons. And then after that, you got to go to 8 dungeons to get their 8 things. That's basically the Zelda formula. And every dungeon gives you an item, and
Well, that's
you do
what I
half the
mean. So like
dungeon.
you go through the dungeon, you solve its puzzles, which gets you the item, and at the end of every dungeon, there is a boss that you either
Yeah.
have to defeat then or you have to return to defeat them. That's what I mean by like.
And
that's
Breath
that
of the Wild and Zelda 1, neither of them have any of that, really. They have the whole you get an item thing, but in Zelda 1, they weren't really puzzle-solving items. They were more like keys.
Well, they were like, yeah, they were very much keys.
It's like
was weird.
I like Zelda 2 conceptually. I think if they got rid of lives, people would like it a lot more because lives really don't belong in that game.
Yeah, it doesn't like if you're playing it on the Switch Online thing, it's not too
Yep.
bad because you could stop at any time, and there's also
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing that's just you're stronger objectively.
I think also they could have done with like maybe giving you a longer weapon, maybe upgrade, because why the fuck does Link have a knife? It's like such a stubby thing. Just make
Well,
it longer.
I think it was because they were limited on the number of pixels they could use for both the weapon and the character.
Maybe, maybe.
Yeah,
So much
that's
on
definitely
screen
sounds
time.
like a very possible thing, considering how they had to build like most of the games back in the day on the E NES.
Yeah, there was a lot of hardware limitations with the second game in comparison, since it played more 3D-esque. It was like it had a lot more in it. Also, lady, is that a finger? What is that? Did she
That,
look at that?
Was a bug.
I don't want to say what I think that might have been.
It was a
That looked
penis.
terrifying. No,
Using
a
such
tiny-
an unrealistically, like, just terrible umbrella. It just looks so bad.
The umbrella doesn't age though.
It looks like it looks like you're having like you gotta something's wrong with your GPU.
It's an MSI umbrella.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
ROG Republic of
Counter-Strike
Gamers.
Source umbrella.
Have any of you guys played Sekiro?
I've watched someone play
I haven't
Sekiro.
actually.
We should play it because that's a game that's very interesting from a Souls-like perspective.
We need to play Ghost of Tsushima if you guys haven't played it yet.
That one's definitely better and probably
I
better
like that
storyline.
game. I like that game, but I definitely
My
It
man's
wasn't
gonna say
like
something
in-
about the combat. Watch.
No. I actually kind of liked the combat. The combat was okay. It wasn't the focus of the game, obviously, but the game felt very much like just another like Ubisoft type game. It felt like it was just Assassin's Creed. I don't think it's even made by Ubisoft. I don't know.
No, it's
actually.
made by fucking. God, we were just singing.
But
the
it
praises of
it
that.
feels like that type of game, like Horizon, like the same that same genre. And at that point that I played it, I was like, I played too many of these games, these over the shoulder
the point
waypoint finder games.
The point I find about those games is those games are less made for the gameplay, and more for the cinematic aspect of it.
Which is
Unfortunately for it, it's a very beautiful game. Traversing
It
is
is a
very
beautiful game.
satisfying, and the combat is satisfying enough where you don't really mind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's not deep at all. It is very much like you have a very Simon Says way of doing things, which Doom Eternal has a very Simon Says way of doing things, but each question that it asks you has multiple answers, so you get creative with things.
Well, not just
depending
that,
on situation.
With Ghost of Tsushima, it also the way that the world is structured and laid out, it doesn't feel as boring as say an Assassin's Creed game where like it's like, oh, you have to collect these sea shanties, and
I will
they're
say,
exactly
the
where
world,
you think they are. You know what
the
I mean?
amount of things that the world let you do was pretty cool.
Well, not just let you do, but also let you discover on your own. Because it wasn't like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, you enter a map and then you know where all the waypoints are, and then you just got to climb the big thing and then find out where exactly they are. Which was one of the things that pissed off
I
the customers on
personally
Assassin's Creed.
I personally found it more enjoyable for me than I did with Breath of the Wild. That's just because I ran out of things to do in Breath of the Wild. I still don't know, like, I'm still like on the fence on whether or not I really like Breath of the Wild or I just think it's okay.
I really liked it. I think what you're experiencing is that you're no longer in the honeymoon phase of the game, and you're
that's probably what it is.
And you're seeing it for what you've already done and what you wish it could do,
Yeah.
rather than what it did. You know what I mean?
Because the first time I played it, I was like, oh man, this game is quite amazing. But then I went back and I was like, oh well, I mean.
Well, it also
It
it is
made a lot of-
kind of how your brain is wired. You want new things rather than just experiencing the same old things over and over again.
Yeah,
It's
hard to
not
look
even
back.
it's not even just new stuff. It's just I'm a big fan of I guess depth when it comes to games. And Breath of the Wild has depth. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just not the type of depth that I wanted out of it. Because it's all crazy, wacky physics-based stuff, which is interesting. It's just that's not really what the game is. I guess would you say the game is designed around all that crazy nonsense?
What's up?
like all the crazy like glitches you can do. Would you say the game is designed around that?
No, the game isn't designed around that at all. It's just
Like-
but again, it's one of those things where you're not looking for that. You specifically as a person are looking for something else in the game, and once you've already discovered everything the game gives you, and you know that there's other stuff that the game isn't technically intended to use, you become disillusioned with that idea that like it could have been so much more, when in reality that's not what the game was trying to do whatsoever. You know what I mean?
I guess I'm just
It's
I'm
the
just
same-
trying to
it's-
figure out what.
it's the same reason why a lot of people don't like subsequent Mario games, because they can't, backflip
They're
dash
just
up some
more
stairs
Mario.
because that these games are
Well,
not broken.
I'm
the
not
way
even
that
I'm not even
64
talking about that.
Well,
When
no,
it
no,
comes
but-
to like
but
physics based,
it's just one of like it's an example, So like some people think that 64 is the greatest game of all time, or the greatest Mario
Yeah.
game of all time, because they can do those things. And Sunshine didn't let them do that, so therefore Sunshine is a lesser game than 64. Even though technically Sunshine is more polished, it has tighter controls, yada yada, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, I think that'll get into like subjective, which one's more fun.
Exactly. So it just depends on like what you were looking for in that game, and then let's say something.
Yeah.
For me, the reason I was super excited for this Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild one is that I had no
Oh, I was too.
my expectations for it were, hey, I'm gonna be stuck in 7 dungeons, maybe 8, and I'm gonna have to beat bosses up back to back for it, and it wasn't that.
Oh yeah,
And
it was very different, and I was happy with it. I think my biggest issue was just the exploration part is great. It's the best part of the game. You're exploring.
Which
it's
is
just
what they were aiming for.
It's just what you get out of exploring that is the rub.
That I can agree with, because a lot of the rewards that you get off of it don't really measure up with how much stuff there is to do.
Yeah, it's like you get like once you do enough stuff, eventually you'll hit a point where you're just like, you know what it feels like? It feels like they plan for people to go out in every direction, so they put the same type of stuff in every direction, so eventually you'll get to the same point as someone else.
Which
but
with
you'll have
people
done
that
it
just-
differently.
which with people that are just kind of playing through it, it works. It's a
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
beautiful experience because everybody gets a different outcome of to it. But for
Yeah.
people like you and me who complete everything, who literally want to do everything there is to do in the game, it's more
Yeah.
tedious than it is exhilarating.
Yeah, because you don't really get anything.
At least after the
I
first
think-
time. The first time, it's just like, whoa, I did everything.
Yeah.
I collected all 900 Korok seeds, and nobody can say otherwise.
Yeah.
I have my shit.
But
I-
I
it's
did it twice, and I can see your argument for like, oh well, there's really nothing much else to do, because there isn't. It really isn't. We played the game until it was wrung dry, which we weren't technically supposed to do, if you really think about it.
I mean, I feel like the game could have benefited from something like side quests, because like Skyrim is a similar type of game. They're very different, so I can't really compare them.
Well, there
but
are side
one
quests,
is,
but they're too far in between, and this is why I'm hoping that
The-
the second game is very much
Well,
fixing all that, in a sense.
the thing about the side quests in Breath of the Wild is that the side quests in Breath of the Wild are there just to tell you about other stuff that you can do naturally. So you can either do the side quest and get a small extra reward, which is usually like money or materials, or you can skip the side quest if you already know the thing is there. That's generally it. It's
Yeah.
what they call them, shrine quest. But I was
Well, no, I was talking
see, like,
more like when you build that village, like that's a whole side.
oh
quest.
yeah,
Or-
that
or when-
is the big side quest.
or
in the
when
game.
you restore your house,
Yeah.
those are the side quests that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like the
Yeah.
shrines themselves. That's
Um,
beyond side quests. That's just like a checklist.
The shrines are my favorite part of the game. Out of all of the game, I think the shrines are like where you're like, this is the best reward that you could get from exploring. My biggest problem is that
Because
every other reward.
it directly helps you with every other reward. Just kind of
Well,
like at some point it
not only-
becomes unnecessary, like the Korok seeds.
The Korok seeds,
The weapons themselves,
what
if you think about
the
it.
weapons themselves, the materials, everything gets very, very redundant very quickly.
Except for the Master Sword, but that's just because it's the special one, and they
Well,
make,
yeah.
and they make it
Actually,
so,
if you get the Master Sword and then you level up, the game becomes very boring because now you just one shot everything with the Master Sword, and you hoard weapons because why would you waste weapons? The biggest issue I have with that game out of all of it is the way that they've done the weapon breaking system. I don't mind deteriorating weapons or weapon damage or any of that.
I mean, I feel like that's
just
a
the
really
way-
cool take, though. I've been listening, don't worry, but like
Oh,
I
no,
feel
no,
like
no.
for almost like everyone, I would say like
Yeah,
out of all the
everyone
things that
has
they could
that
have done
issue.
better, that everyone thinks like understanding the concept of well, durability is fine, but not when it's like you're in one fight
5
you're gonna
hits.
use you're gonna use 4 different weapons because they kept breaking.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, I don't mind the idea of weapons breaking. A lot of games have that. Oblivion had that. Dark Souls has that. They're just done better. It's like,
Well, it's
if you have
also
a
one of those things that you got to understand that they're very much just trying out this formula, and for
Oh,
what
yeah,
what they did, I personally think they succeeded because one of the fun things that we got to do is figuring out like your weapon. Oh, shit,
I'm
out here
sorry,
falling.
that was funny looking.
God, it's so tall.
Oh my lord.